Good news. I slept with a total stud. Even better news, we became fuck buddies. Bad news. He's my new boss. My life is over. Again. His hot body pressed against me from behind again. Still want more? I frowned. My mouth said no, but my body was brutally honest. I turned my head and kissed him. Alex and I were at it day and night for the entire weekend. Right up until Sunday evening. He still looked like he couldn't get enough. I rummaged through the messy carpet for my clothes and managed a weak refusal. I can't. I have an early meeting tomorrow. I can't be late. The new boss is starting. I have to make a good impression. He was lying on the bed, shirtless, and said with regret, "All right then. See you next week. Deal." On Monday morning, I showed up at the office in a full suit, my ID badge clipped on. Angela, from the desk next to mine, leaned over to gossip. I heard the new CEO is young and handsome. I wasn't interested in what the CEO looked like. I just replied, "I just hope he's a decent human being." The last CEO was a real piece of work, treated us all like dirt. We finally suffered through until he got transferred. I was just hoping for someone slightly better. In the conference room, the new CEO made his grand entrance to a round of enthusiastic applause. Looking at the man standing in the center of the room, my world stopped. It was Alex, my fuck buddy. How is the world this small? I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. Luckily, the room was packed, so he didn't seem to notice me. My head was ducked so low it was practically under the table. Suddenly, my wrist got a nudge. Angela whispered, "William, the CEO is asking you to speak." "Who's William?" I snapped back to reality and heard Alex calling my name. I sucked in a sharp breath and reluctantly got to my feet. It was obvious from the look of pure shock on his face that he recognized me the second he saw me. I felt a pang of guilt, because I told him my name was Liam. He gave me a long, meaningful look for a few seconds, then slowly spoke. "William, your team is in charge of this project. Please walk us through it." I gave a brief report. Alex only asked 2 simple questions. The moment the meeting ended, I bolted from the office like I was escaping a fire. No joke. In that short 1-hour meeting, I had already mentally drafted my resignation letter. But when I thought about the economy these last couple of years, when I thought about my mortgage and car payments, I figured I could just suck it up and keep going. Angela came back from the meeting practically delirious. "Gee, Alex is so hot. At least I get some eye candy while I slave away. I'll forgive the world for 3 seconds." I laughed. "Get a grip." Angela continued her fangirling. "Even though he's wearing a button down, you can just tell he has a great body. He's just oozing testosterone." It wasn't just great. It was incredible, and it felt amazing to the touch. But the thought of the guy who talked so dirty in bed now being my big boss made me want to flee the planet. Alex's secretary clicked over in her high heels. "William, Alex wants to see you in his office." I stood up, feeling like my soul had left my body. "Can the earth just explode right now, please?" In the spacious office, the floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city. "Alex, you wanted to see me?" Alex looked up from his computer and sized me up. "William?" "Yes, Alex." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Liam?" I pretended not to know what he was talking about. "Alex, who's Liam?" He suddenly chuckled, looking at me with amusement. "Stop pretending. There aren't 2 people in the world who not only look identical but even have a mole in the exact same place." I blurted out instinctively, "A mole where?" Alex playfully pinched his earlobe. "Shit, I have a mole on my earlobe. Just yesterday, the man standing before me in a crisp suit was kissing it." My expression grew increasingly stiff. Alex said with a half-smile, "Alex Wilton is my real name." Was he being passive-aggressive because I gave him a fake name? Seeing there was no way out of this, I decided to just roll with it. I let out a dry laugh. "Alex, what a coincidence." "Huh?" he said playfully, "so I'm the new boss you were talking about. If I'd known, I would have kept you there yesterday." I pressed my hands together, begging for mercy. "Alex, in the office, let's just pretend we don't know each other. Okay? Business only, no personal stuff." He nodded, though he still looked a little reluctant. I fled his office in a panic. My relationship with Alex was purely physical. To put it bluntly, we were fuck buddies. 6 months ago, the straight guy I had a crush on got a girlfriend. I was heartbroken and went to a bar to drink my sorrows away. I ended up at the same table as Alex. He seemed to be in a bad mood too, and someone had slipped something in his drink. I'm a good person, so I helped him out of the bar. But he wasn't so good. He started getting handsy with me. I wasn't thinking straight, totally seduced by how hot he was, and one thing led to another and we ended up in bed. Looking at his handsome face, I figured, what the hell, and kissed him back. The first time, neither of us really knew what we were doing. But eventually we got the hang of it. We didn't stop until the sun came up. After that, we reached a mutual understanding. No feelings, just physical. We'd meet up once a week. We were ridiculously compatible in bed. Every time we met, it was like we were trying to break the bed. It was a great comfort in my otherwise soul-crushing corporate drone life. We didn't know anything about each other's personal lives. I always assumed he was just another working stiff like me, a wage slave during the week, looking to blow off some steam and satisfy his urges on the weekend. Who would have thought he was secretly a CEO behind my back? And a CEO was one thing, but the CEO of my company? Damn it! For the first time in my life, I wasn't looking forward to the weekend. But because of that, the week felt like it flew by at fucking light speed. Alex was really busy this week. The only time I saw him was once at the coffee shop downstairs from the office. I pretended to be on a call and avoided eye contact. During my lunch break on Friday, I got a text from Alex. Where are we meeting this week? We always met at different places. Sometimes a hotel, sometimes in his car. Sometimes for a thrill out in the wild. I pulled out the excuse I had prepared earlier. Sorry, Alex. I have to go back to my hometown for my mom's birthday this weekend. Alex. Okay. Didn't we agree to keep work and life separate? Just use my first name when we're talking about personal stuff. Oh God. There was no way I could keep them separate, especially after watching him chew out the lead of the team next to ours in a meeting that very morning. Did you come up with this plan with your feet? The atmosphere in the conference room was cold enough to freeze hell over. The team lead was furious but didn't dare say a word. When it was my turn to report, I was terrified, like I was walking on eggshells. After I finished, Alex commented, "The proposal is all flash and no substance. Have you even considered if it's feasible? You guys have no idea. And now you want me to sleep with him? I choose celibacy." Another week passed. A message from Alex arrived right on schedule. Where to this weekend? Me, a friend's getting married this week. I have to go to the next city over to be a groomsman. Alex, you don't have any free time at all? Is he that desperate? Me, yeah, the round trip alone is 7 or 8 hours. Actually, no friend was getting married. I was just being a coward. 2 weeks of celibacy was not a good feeling. On Saturday, I used a few props at home. It helped a little, but not much. Couldn't help but think about Alex. The more I thought, the hotter I got. To cool myself down, I took a cab to the office to get some overtime in. Making money makes me happy. But the moment I swiped my card to get in, my world shattered. God help me. The universe is trying to kill me. Why was Alex also here working late? He came out of the break room with a coffee and raised an eyebrow at me. Next city over? Groomsman? I let out a dry laugh. The wedding was called off at the last minute. Alex laughed, but it was a humorless sound. He said, with absolute certainty, "William, you're avoiding me." I sat at my desk, ready to make a run for it. But Alex seemed to read my mind and called my internal line. "Come in. I want to talk to you about the proposal." I grabbed the folder and knocked on his office door. The door opened from the inside, and a strong force pulled me in. Alex pinned me against the door and kissed me fiercely. At first, I tried to dodge and push him away. But then, that familiar feeling washed over me. I took control and the folder in my hand fell to the floor. Alex picked me up and pushed open the door to the private lounge inside his office. The white shirt and suit pants ended up on the floor. Alex's seductive voice came from behind me. "I never thought I'd get to unlock the office play achievement. I'll never be able to look at his floor-to-ceiling windows or his desk the same way again. Outside, the city lights twinkled. Before I knew it, it was dark. Damn you, Alex. I came here to work. Alex came out of the shower, water still dripping from his chest. There were marks I'd left on him. That Hunan place downstairs is good. My treat. I picked up the mangled folder from the floor. I'm not hungry. Just then, my stomach let out an embarrassing growl. Alex muffled a laugh. Come on, we both worked hard today. Redefining the meaning of working hard. In the private room, I ordered a table full of food. This place was crazy expensive. Normally, Angela and the others and I would only come here a few days after getting paid. Alex ate very little, occasionally putting food on my plate. I said nervously, Alex, you eat? Don't worry about me. He paused, his chopsticks hovering. It's after work hours. Just call me by my name. I didn't say anything. Felt too weird. Over the past 6 months, we'd eaten together occasionally. But it was always in the middle of, This was the first time we were sitting down for a proper meal together. It was just so strange. No matter how I thought about it, I buried my head in my food, eating like crazy to ease the awkwardness. After dinner, it started to rain. Alex dangled his car keys. I'll drive you home. I took out my phone and opened a rideshare app. I'll just get a ride. Great. 100 people in the queue ahead of me. Alex, it's raining. It'll be hard to get a car. I'll take you. I got into Alex's Bentley. I opened the back door. He raised an eyebrow. What am I, your chauffeur? I wouldn't dare. I walked around to the front. Let me drive. Alex laughed. Get in the passenger seat. The whole way I was thinking. My decision to become fuck buddies with Alex was probably the most rebellious thing I'd ever done. I've always liked to keep my work and personal life separate. Alex only knew me physically. Besides that, he knew nothing. That's why I could always relax with him. But now he was my boss. Could I still be as carefree and at ease around him as before? What if our colleagues found out about our relationship? I don't like the unknown. Before getting out of the car, I mustered up the courage to look at Alex. Alex, I think we should end this. We don't need to see each other on weekends anymore. Alex looked confused. Why? Just because I became your boss? Of course, I couldn't say yes. After all, I still had to work under him. I just want to end this kind of relationship. It's not a long-term solution. His face darkened. I unbuckled my seatbelt and quickly got out of the car. To be honest, I felt a little weird about it too. I shook my head, forcing myself not to overthink it. I must just be really horny for him. Monday morning, as soon as I got to my desk, Angela leaned over tragically. It's the end of the world. Alex has a girlfriend. I was surprised. What? He has a hickey on his neck. Angela continued, but it's normal for someone as hot as him to have a girlfriend. For the rest of the day, everyone was secretly discussing Alex's mysterious girlfriend in the group chat. He must be intense. There's more than one hickey on his neck. I suspect those are bite marks. So jealous. She's eating well. Alex isn't even trying to hide it. It's like he's showing off. Maybe it's because so many female colleagues are eyeing Alex. His girlfriend is marking her territory. I felt my vision go dark. Friends, your imaginations are running a little wild. It was true, I bit him. Even though no one knew it was me, I was on edge all day. Fortunately, I was going to City C for a business trip tomorrow. I wouldn't have to face Alex for the rest of the week. At the airport, I was strolling with my suitcase, feeling light and easy, looking for Mr. Sam, who I was supposed to be traveling with. Wait, why was I seeing Alex and his secretary? Alex, dressed in casual clothes, looked at me leisurely. Morning, William. I looked around. Where's Mr. Sam? He suddenly fell ill. I have to fill in for him. A loud buzzing filled my head. My world was ending. Again. Alex was actually a pretty nice guy. He upgraded Mai and Linda, the secretary's economy seats, to first class. Actually, getting to know him these past few days, I could see that Alex was a good boss. He was a man of few words, and he criticized the issue, not the person. When he had something to say, he was direct and always got to the point. He was 1,000 times better than the old boss, Mr. Wong. Since Alex arrived, my work life had become much smoother, so I treasured this job even more. This business trip was to negotiate a partnership. The initial work went smoothly, but when it came to signing the contract, the other party suddenly started playing hard to get. At the dinner table, their manager kept toasting me, one glass after another. I was just about to steel myself and drink when Alex, who was next to me, blocked it. "Lucas, I'll drink with you." That wouldn't do. I picked up my glass to drink it myself, but Alex forcefully stopped me. A feeling like a feather tickled my heart. After the dinner party, I helped a drunk Alex back to the hotel. His eyes were hazy, and his whole body was leaning on me as he muttered curses. "That asshole. Who are you cursing? That Lucas bastard." If Grant didn't care so much about this partnership, I would have thrown my drink in his face. I was full of question marks. Who's Grant? The person draped over me went silent. He had fallen asleep. After the dinner, the other party finally signed the contract. Our return flights were booked for the next day. My childhood friend, Dave, happened to be in City C and asked me out for a drink. At the bar, we reminisced about old times. When we came out of the bar, we had our arms around each other's shoulders. "William, when you get rich and famous, don't forget me." "Dave, my man, you know it." As we staggered along, our path was suddenly blocked. I looked up and saw Alex's grim face. I asked, "Alex, what are you doing here?" He asked in a low voice, "Where are you two going?" "To the hotel." It was already past 11. Of course, we were going back to the hotel to sleep. Dave lived far from here, so I was just going to let him crash with me for the night. Who knew that after hearing this, Alex's expression would get even worse. He peeled Dave off me. "You're going to sleep with him?" His face looked like it was about to crack, and he even seemed a little hurt. "He gets to. Why can't I? Is he in better shape than me? Is he better in bed than me? Are you as compatible with him?" My mind was a complete mess. His accusatory tone made it seem like I was the one cheating. I quickly explained, telling him that Dave and I didn't have that kind of relationship. His expression changed from stormy to clear, and his aggressive stance softened. Alex and I helped the blackout drunk Dave back to the hotel. He looked at the king-sized bed, his brows furrowed. He glanced at Dave, who was sleeping soundly on the bed. "He's straight, right?" I nodded. "Yeah, why?" Alex said slowly, "You're gay. It's not appropriate for you to share a bed with a straight guy." Dave and I had known each other since we were in diapers. He knew about my sexuality and didn't care at all. We were like brothers. But I played along anyway. "Should I go get another room from the front desk?" Alex said bluntly, "You can sleep with me." "Wait, a gay guy and another gay guy sleeping in the same bed? That's even less appropriate, right?" But Alex didn't give me time to think, pushing me by the shoulders into his suite with an air of finality. I didn't dwell on it too much. It wasn't like we hadn't slept together before. Since I was here, I might as well wash up and go to sleep. I grabbed a bathrobe and went into the bathroom. A second later, Alex followed me in. "Alex, what are you doing?" Alex reached up and took off his shirt. I swallowed hard. "Alex, it's after midnight. It's Saturday now." I tried weakly to refuse. "Alex, I already told you last week that our arrangement is over." Alex took off his pants. I didn't agree to that. He took my hand and placed it on his chest. "If you don't want to, you can leave now." Damn him. The next day, I woke up in Alex's arms, my hands still on his chest. I shot up like a spring. I looked at the hickey on my chest with immense regret. Alcohol is the devil, and lust makes you lose your mind. Alex stirred, waking up with sleepy eyes, and pulled me back in. "Let's sleep a little longer." Just then, a cautious knock came from the door. I heard Linda's voice. "Alex, it's time to go to the airport. Help me." I felt like a mistress being caught in the act. I shot out of bed and threw on my clothes. Alex gave a short reply to Linda. He looked up at me, confused. "What are you so panicked about?" "Forget it. There's no explaining it to you, Mr. CEO." I opened the door guiltily, looked left and right to make sure the hallway was empty, and only then dared to step out. After we landed, I sent a message I drafted to Alex. "Alex, last night was a mistake. From now on, we are just a boss and his subordinate." He didn't reply. After that, I threw myself into my work. But every time I went into Alex's office to report, I felt apprehensive. Luckily, he didn't contact me on the following weekends. I just lounged around at home, occasionally hanging out with friends. Summer meant lots of mosquitoes. I got 2 red bites on my neck. When I got to the office on Monday, Angela, our resident gossip, leaned over and stared at my collarbone. "William, are you seeing someone?" She handed me her compact mirror. I took a look, and they really did look a bit like hickeys. "Damn mosquitoes bit me." She sighed in disappointment. "Such a waste of that handsome face of yours. What kind of guy are you even looking for?" She knew I was gay. The first face that popped into my mind was Alex's. Quickly shook my head and chuckled. "Haven't met the right one yet." In the morning, I took a contract to Alex's office for his signature. His gaze was fiery, fixed on my neck. But he didn't ask anything, only talked about work. When I was leaving the company building after work, Alex blocked my way. He stared at my collarbone. "William, are you seeing someone else?" I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. As I was trying to figure out how to explain, I heard him say plaintively, "You said no personal stuff at the office, so I waited until after work to ask you. Do you have any idea what these past 8 hours have been like for me?" "Alex, these are mosquito bites." His twisted expression immediately returned to normal. "Really?" Cross my heart and hope to die. Although I didn't really need to explain it to him. But seeing his hurt expression, I couldn't help but feel a little sorry for him. Alex looked apologetic. "Sorry, my tone was a bit harsh just now. To apologize, let me take you to dinner." I waved my hand, refusing. I had leftovers from the weekend waiting for me at home. He said, "My car's in the shop for maintenance. Can you give me a ride home?" "I can't get a ride right now." The boss himself had spoken. How could a humble subordinate refuse? Alex sat in the passenger seat of my beat-up old Honda, his long legs looking cramped. He was really slumming it. After half an hour of following the GPS, we arrived at a villa complex. As Alex unbuckled his seatbelt, he said, "To show my thanks, why don't you stay for dinner?" I politely declined. "It was nothing. I'll eat at home. I have Australian lobster at home, just flown in this morning." I gritted my teeth and refused. "That's okay." Alex continued to tempt me and bluefin tuna. Suddenly, the leftovers at home didn't seem so appealing. A friend gave them to me. I can't finish it all by myself, and it would be a waste to throw it away. I live here alone. Besides the housekeeper, there's no one else. Damn it! I unbuckled my seatbelt and got out of the car. Alex's house was huge. On the dining table, a lavish dinner was already laid out. I was dumbfounded. This meal probably cost a month of my salary. Afraid I would feel uncomfortable, Alex had the housekeeper go home. At the table, I stuffed my face. Alex kept peeling shrimp for me. Flustered, I peeled a few for him too. He took the lobster with a half smile and said again, "It's after hours. Just think of me as Alex." God, there was no way. Alex suddenly asked, "William, can you tell me specifically why you want to end this arrangement?" He asked so sincerely that I couldn't just give him a perfunctory answer. I put down my chopsticks and said seriously, "I've always liked to keep my work and personal life separate. Continuing that kind of relationship with you would distract me from my job. You're a good boss, and I really value my job here." Alex nodded in understanding. After we were full, it was already dark. Alex walked me to my car. As I started the engine, he suddenly walked over and knocked on the driver's side window. "So, what are your thoughts on office romances?" I was completely confused. How did we get on this topic? Did he find out about an office romance at our company? I replied, "If the company doesn't forbid it, and two people like each other, I think it's okay as long as they don't bother anyone." A look of joy crossed his face. "I see. Text me when you get home." The next month was a blur of crazy busy work. Every day, a cup of coffee and various snacks would appear on my desk. They were all my favorites. A neck and shoulder massager also mysteriously appeared on my chair. I looked around and saw that all the colleagues in my department had one too. I poked Angela and asked, "Who bought these? So generous." She pointed towards Alex's office, her face full of excitement and adoration. "It was all Alex. He said we've been working hard this month. Other colleagues were excitedly discussing it in the group chat. I declare I will work for this company until I retire. Alex, a man among men. Why can't every office have an Alex? Even I couldn't help but marvel at how thoughtful Alex was. After the project was successfully completed, the company organized a celebration banquet at a resort. After everyone had eaten and drunk their fill, the conversation became more relaxed. An adventurous colleague, emboldened by alcohol, asked, Alex, everyone is curious about what kind of goddess your girlfriend is. Would you care to share? Alex put down his wine glass and asked, confused, who said I have a girlfriend? Angela, sitting next to me, looked like her fantasy had just shattered. Looks like all men are the same. Another colleague chimed in, it's normal. Rich guys like him change girlfriends all the time. I silently defended Alex in my head. He actually didn't play around. The next second, Alex spoke again, but I do have someone I like. The crowd erupted in a chorus of cheers and whistles. Angela whispered, why do I get the feeling Alex is looking our way? A strange tightness formed in my chest. Alex likes someone? I was so curious about what kind of person he would fall for. The more I thought about it, the more agitated I became. I drank a lot, grabbed a microphone with a colleague, and sang karaoke. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. My boss was about to start dating someone, and here I was, singing and dancing my heart out. We partied until midnight before everyone reluctantly dispersed. Ben, the new intern, helped me back to my room. There was a knock on the door, and a waiter delivered a bowl of sober-up soup. I turned to Ben, who was adjusting the AC, and said, thanks, Ben. You're so thoughtful. He looked confused. Huh? I didn't order that. Who could it be then? Whatever, it's not poisoned. I drank it all in one go, lay down on the bed, pulled up the covers, and closed my eyes. Ben, you can go. Thanks for your help. Okay, William. Good night. Not 2 minutes after Ben left, there was another knock on my door. I stumbled over to open it and saw Alex, his face as dark as a thundercloud. Almost everyone on this floor was from the company. The alcohol instantly wore off, and I quickly pulled Alex inside. Alex, is something wrong? He ground out between his teeth. I ordered the soup. Thanks, Alex. You're so thoughtful. His expression didn't improve. He asked again, who was that guy just now? Why was he in your room? My chest already felt tight, and his interrogating tone was starting to annoy me. Was he going to accuse me of sleeping with someone else again? Damn it. Did he really think I was that easy? Even though we became fuck buddies, he was the only one I'd ever slept with. He already has someone he likes, so why is he so concerned about his ex-fuck buddy? My expression turned cold. Alex, it's after work hours. Who comes to my room and what they do here is none of your business, is it? He was taken aback, his expression a little unnatural. I'm sorry. I crossed a line. After Alex left, I heard the swipe of a keycard and a door opening next door. So he was staying in the room next to mine. After Alex's little scene, I was wide awake, all sleepiness gone. The next day, before my colleagues were even up, I drove back to the city. A while ago, I lied to Alex about a friend getting married and me being a groomsman. I didn't expect it to actually come true. My college roommate, Ryan, was getting married and asked me to be his groomsman. Ryan was the straight guy I used to have a crush on. He just got a girlfriend 6 months ago, and now it was a shotgun wedding. The speed was like a rocket launch. I used to imagine that when he got married, I'd be devastated, maybe even feel like jumping off a building. But when the day actually came, I felt very calm. I was genuinely happy for him and wished him all the best. Wearing my groomsman's suit, I watched Ryan and his bride exchange vows and rings. In that moment, completely out of the blue, I thought of Alex. It hit me like a ton of bricks. An epiphany. I was in love with Alex. That's why I was so upset at the resort yesterday when I heard him say he liked someone. I let out a long sigh. Maybe I should go find a temple and pray? Who could be more pathetic than me? I just realized I was in love with someone, only to have my heart broken before it even started. After the wedding, I went home with a heavy heart. As I stepped out of the elevator, I saw a dark figure. It nearly gave me a heart attack. The next second, the hallway light flickered on. I saw that the dark figure was none other than Alex, the very person who had been bouncing around in my head. I took a moment to calm my racing heart and asked, "Alex, what are you doing here? How did he know where I lived? There's something I want to say to you. Why didn't you just text me? You didn't reply to my messages or answer my calls." I took out my phone and saw that it had died at some point. I invited Alex into my apartment. He looked at me seriously and said, "William, I'm sorry. I only found out today that the guy from last night was the new intern at our company. I shouldn't have used that tone with you, and I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. It's just, I like you. That's why I've been so jealous and paranoid." Wait, did I hear him right? I snapped my head up to look at Alex and asked uncertainly, "What did you say?" "William, I like you. I don't just like sleeping with you. I like you, the person. I like everything about you. Someone pinch me. Tell me I'm not dreaming." The person Alex said he liked yesterday was me? I felt like I was going to faint. Alex continued, "You said you like to keep work and life separate, but I have to stay at this branch for a year before I can go back to headquarters. I don't want to wait a year to confess to you. And you said that day that you're okay with office romances. So, will you let me try to win you over?" Happiness came so suddenly. One second I was at rock bottom, the next I was floating on cloud 9. I leaned in and kissed Alex. "You don't have to, because I like you too." Alex and I started dating. And let me tell you, you wouldn't believe it. This secret office romance thing is kind of thrilling. An occasional shared glance is enough to make my heart race. When I go to his office to report on work, one second we're talking business, and the next he's pulling me onto his lap. The old me who preached about separating work and life was such a phony. But I didn't slack off on my work. In fact, I became even more serious about it. Angela, the head of the gossip department, sidled up to me. "Alex is definitely with the person he likes." I pretended to be calm and asked, "How can you tell? He's so much more cheerful. He was even smiling at his phone during a meeting." That was because he was texting me. I guiltily exited our chat. Over the weekend, Alex planned a date for us. He took me out on the water. I fell silent, staring at the yacht in front of us with Alex painted on the side. "There are so many rich people in the world, what's one more?" Alex pointed at the big boat. "I bought another one. I'll have it painted with William." Hearing this, my knees felt weak. My life was really looking up. On the deck, Alex taught me how to fish. He wasn't really teaching, though. One minute we were fishing, the next we were making out, completely oblivious to the fish biting the hook. In the afternoon, he said he would teach me how to sail. That was pretty exciting too. Another new play unlocked. On Wednesday before work ended, Alex told me to come to his place. "I'm cooking tonight. You can cook? Who are you looking down on?" And so, Alex once again found himself in my beat-up old Honda. I had no idea what his obsession was with riding in my car when he had a whole row of luxury cars in his underground garage. While waiting at a red light, I saw my team lead from the next department over. I yelled, "Alex, get down." Alex did as he was told without asking questions, ducking down completely. He looked ridiculous. After we passed the familiar street, Alex sat up, a wounded expression on his face. I burst out laughing. He complained, "What's the big deal if someone sees us? It's not like you haven't driven me home before." I said, "It's the thrill of having a guilty conscience." He said wistfully, "When can we stop hiding? I really want to announce to the whole world that you're my husband." My hand slipped, and I almost missed the light turning red. "Alex, don't say things like husband while I'm driving," he asked cheekily. "Did I get you all flustered again?" With an apron on, Alex looked pretty good standing in the kitchen. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, long legs, TSK. If he weren't wearing clothes, just the apron. "William, it's the middle of the day. What are you thinking?" But apparently, Alex's mind was also in the gutter. He leaned in close to my ear, spatula in hand, and asked, "Want to try some kitchen play?" I pretended to be serious. "Shut up and cook. I'm hungry." He hummed a happy tune. "Babe, I'm so happy. You finally stopped treating me like your boss," I said in a sweet, high-pitched voice, That's right, honey. Alex's stir-frying suddenly became stiff. Ha! So you can tease me, but I can't tease you back? After dinner, I made a move to leave. Alex tried to get me to stay. Just sleep here. The bed in my room is huge. I picked up my car keys from the table. Alex added, my bathtub is huge. Actually, I didn't really want to leave. I put down the car keys, turned around, and jumped on him. He caught me securely. Alex's bathtub really was huge. The next day, we both took a half day of annual leave. We slept until noon and took a shower together. When we got out, I was draped over him, kissing him intermittently. Just then, the bedroom door was pushed open from the outside. No, it was pushed open by a dog from the outside. A huge husky charged onto the bed with ferocious energy. Probably thought I was bullying Alex, because it used all its strength to push me off him, then started licking and kissing Alex all over. Alex patted the dog's head and pointed at me. ABC, settle down. This is your other dad. I was stunned. As if that wasn't enough, an older man's voice came from outside the door. Alex, you're home? Our eyes met and I wanted to die. I didn't know whether to be grateful that Alex and I were both wearing bathrobes. And why did this man look so familiar? Alex looked displeased. Dad, what are you doing here? The older man had a teasing look on his face. You kids are wild. Huh? Not even going to work on a weekday. He even waved at me with a grin. Hello. You two carry on. I thought the sudden appearance of a dog was surreal enough, but then came this character. Alex looked at me guiltily. I'm sorry, honey. I had no idea my dad would show up. That's your dad? My world was fucking ending. Again. He pointed at the husky. This is my dog, ABC. He was at a doggy training school until recently. ABC happily came over and nuzzled my hand. By the time Alex and I got dressed and went downstairs, his dad was making tea in the living room. Alex introduced me. Dad, this is my boyfriend, William. My head was bowed so low I could barely lift it. I respectfully said, hello, sir. He poured me a cup of tea. Hello. I didn't have anything to do today, so I went to the school to pick up the dog. I had no idea you two were in the master bedroom. Alex cut him off. Dad. A light bulb went off in my head. Sir's last name is Grant? Isn't this the chairman of our company? The one we only see at the annual gala? No wonder he looked familiar. Great, just great. Alex isn't just the CEO of our branch, he's the heir to the entire group, isn't he? Your name is William? I feel like I've seen you before. His dad squinted at me, then suddenly had a realization. I remember. You were last year's Employee of the Year. I personally gave you the award. You're very capable. And now that we're family, how about you become a CEO too? That really won't be necessary. I almost lost my balance. Alex's dad was a little too enthusiastic. A year later, Alex returned to the company headquarters. He said he had originally agreed to come to the branch office because he had come out to his family. His dad had a fit and exiled him to the branch. You city folk call this being exiled? Then what does that make me? A mere team lead. I also took Alex back to my hometown. The night before, Alex was so nervous he couldn't sleep until 3 in the morning. I asked him what was wrong. He said he was nervous. It was kind of cute. My parents were very happy with him. But with his qualifications, it would be a cold day in hell before they weren't. Ryan's wife had a daughter, and Alex went with me to the baby's 1-month celebration. That night, he was urgent and fierce. Ryan is the straight guy you used to have a crush on, right? When we first met, we sat at the same table in the bar. I had poured my heart out to Alex about it. To be honest, it wasn't like I was that deeply in love with Ryan. I never expected the boomerang to come back around. I shifted. Honey, why are you bringing up old scores? I love you the most. At the company's annual gala, everyone was waiting to see if Alex would bring his girlfriend. I was hiding in a corner, eating a small cake, afraid to speak. Angela, wearing a beautiful gown, came over and grabbed my wrist excitedly. Come on, I want to introduce you to a hot top. The manager of the City F branch. He's tall and handsome. I said hesitantly, actually, I have a boy. Alex walked over and pulled my wrist out of Angela's hand. He already has a hot top. Angela's eyes widened. Who? Alex's arm wrapped around my waist, and he raised an eyebrow at Angela. Me. Angela shrieked and ran off in her high heels, taking tiny, frantic steps. My phone was immediately bombarded with messages from her. William, you've been eating this good behind my back. Alex must be amazing, right? How many abs does he have? His pecs must feel great, right? You and Alex are a perfect match. I smiled and turned my head to look at a slightly jealous Alex. He is amazing. He has 8-pack abs and very thick pecs. He's rich and he spends it all on me. He's a total romantic, and he loves me like crazy. Only I know just how sweet it is. Alex's POV. The project bid failed. I was in a bad mood, so I went to a bar for a drink. I ended up at the same table as a handsome guy. He was very good looking with a really comfortable vibe. Before I knew it, we had talked for a long time. After a drink, something felt off. I think someone drugged me. The handsome guy was kind and helped me out of the bar. My bodyguards were actually nearby. But for some reason, I just wanted to touch this person I had just met. In a haze of passion, we ended up in bed. It seemed to be the first time for both of us. At the beginning, it was a bit messy. After that, we maintained that kind of relationship. I looked forward to every weekend. The longer it went on, the less satisfied I became. He drew me in more and more. I wanted to understand this person, to get closer to his life, to know what kind of man he was. Just as I was about to make a move, fate intervened. It turned out he worked at my family's company. I became his boss, and our lives became more intertwined. I finally understood my own heart. The desire to get closer, to understand, was because I had fallen for him. Perhaps it was even earlier. From the first moment I saw him, I was attracted to him. But he insisted on keeping work and life separate and wanted to end our arrangement. I panicked and misunderstood him several times. Later, I figured it out. We could start over. I was going to pursue him, to give him coffee and snacks. I bought them for the entire company. I saw him rubbing his shoulders several times, so I bought a neck and shoulder massager for every employee. Thankfully, through my tireless efforts, he became my husband. I love him so much. Of course, he loves me very, very much too.